my name is Sarah Ochwada. I am the first Black African woman to specialize in international sports law. I have a law firm called Kikao Law, where we specialize in sports law, entertainment law, intellectual property law, and fashion law.
My name is Kanyali Ilako, Kenya's first and only licensed sports and performance psychologist. A sport and performance psychologist basically works with coaches, athletes, and various professionals on their mental coaching. Yeah, so how you go to the gym, you know, to build those big quads, you come and see me to build a stronger mindset and to make you more mentally tough.
My name is Kiraguri. I am the managing director of Icon Sports. Icon Sports is a company I started 10 years ago. We do the business of management of sports events. Largely, we've been associated with rugby, golf, and currently in football. It's an interesting field to be in, championing the business of sports for women and showing the youth that there is an opportunity for business. Even if you're not a sports person, it depends on the opportunities that are coming up in sports.
My name is Sarah Chan, and I am a professional basketball player and a development associate at Giants of Africa organization. Right now I am coaching and just graduated with a master's in international relations at USIU. And I am loving having to work with the kids while I still play. So, you know, giving back to the community, it's an amazing, amazing journey for me working with the Giants of Africa.
My name is Peris Mukoko. I'm a rugby referee, educator, and I enjoy rugby. And I've been able to officiate both locally and internationally, and broke the bar by being the first female educator in Kenya and third in Africa.
So welcome to another episode of Brunch with Adelle, and it's just about getting really cool people to come through and have conversations about topics that not many people want to dive into. And today, as you've seen from the intro, it's like we have women who are doing amazing things when it comes to sports. Some are the first in Kenya, in Africa, so I'm really honored to have you guys here today. And of course, I bribed them with the delicious food at the Big Elephant. So yes, thank you so much for helping me do that. But so we're talking about women in sports. And I'm not really informed in this sector, not even as a sportswoman, because that chapter is long behind me. But why I wanted to have this conversation is because when the moth came to Kenya, the first story was of a Kenyan girl who's in rugby, and so she felt at a point in her career as a rugby player that she didn't look feminine enough, and even the way she was treated and the way people acted around her, she got that a lot. And for me, I was like, oh my God, yeah, like definitely understanding, not fully, but nobody really has that conversation. So I don't know if we can start with Kanyali, like if you have experienced that in your journey.
I say I can definitely relate to the whole body image thing, because I used to swim competitively, and then I remember I had just moved from an all-girls school to a mixed school now. So I mean, obviously as a teenager you want the attention from the boys. But then I figured, wow, I really look different, you know. It was the first time that I was actually facing the mirror, you know, and noticing that I do have broader shoulders and bigger muscles, because I used to swim the powerful stroke, so like the butterfly and the breaststroke. So it required me to be a bit, you know, stocky or like stronger. Yeah, and so it started with, okay, first of all, you're not getting the attention, or if you were, it was more like, you know, the boys are like, you know, treating you like one of them, and it's just like, no, I'm not. So I think that's when I would say that, I could relate to the whole, stigma of body image.
When it comes to sports marketing and handling like huge sporting events, you, even at that level, find yourself the only woman in a sea of men, and you have to like shout louder for them to see this, your point of view, right?
haven't felt in the boardrooms any discrimination or any feeling like I'm less a human being, because what I have done is now solidified my confidence to 110%.
So somebody can't even begin.
You can't begin. Because I'm not at 100%, actually, I'm at 110.
Yeah. What about like now in terms of law?
There's one particular incident which just sticks out, is when I was put in a panel, and most of them, I think, majority men.
Yeah.
And they were discussing my salary in front of me. And what they said is, we can't give you this much because you're young and you're not married.
What is that?
Exactly. So it's those kind of things where you have to show them, look, the amount of work does not change.
Yeah.
So what you're telling me is, let me go and have 3 children and then times 3 my days.
Yeah. But okay, so this week there's heavy conversations because on one day we were globally having the conversation around equal pay, right? I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, if I'm not sure. Yeah. And that's another thing in sports. Is there equal pay?
In sports, you're lucky if you get paid. You're lucky we get paid on time. So
do it for passion. You're there to actually express your. Guys just write. Okay, in Kenya they write through the whole passion aspect.
Yeah.
But if you go into countries like Canada and Australia, and if you look at the Australian Sevens women team, they actually won gold in Rio. And if you look at the aftermath of that, you get 5-year-olds walking to school and saying, "Mommy, I want to play rugby like that."
Yeah.
And it opens up that whole aspect. Then when you go into the payment, you find it was actually discussed in Canadian Parliament, where they say that the players have to be paid as equal to the male and the female.
Yeah.
It doesn't change the whole law aspect because you're a woman on the pitch and your laws will be different. The laws cut across.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. The sport is still the same. The goal is still the same. The conversion is still the same.
The work you put in.
We have been brought up in a culture, or the environment is, people still have this perception that the women's place is in the kitchen. Please, that thing is long gone.
Yeah.
Because we are educated. The economy has changed. It keeps on growing and the GDP keeps on increasing day by day.
Yeah.
And we have to work twice as much to put in the same income in the household.
But again, we sometimes are our downfall. We would rather go to a guy's game than go to a woman's game. Let's be realistic, right? Especially in basketball. I'll speak for basketball because if you go across and see tennis, Vanessa is done great, and her pay is just as good as male. Actually, folks would rather go watch her than watch the guys. But see, she's earned it, and so we as women in other sports, I honestly think we need to support one another for us to get to that point where we have people coming to our games, and then now the money is in. So now if you don't pay us at that moment, we can start to really complain in those different
Like we need to go out and watch women teams play, right?
It's also because sport has traditionally been a man's thing. Historically, it was even hard to get a woman to run in a marathon. So the first woman to ever run a marathon registered as a man
to be able
eventually revealed herself. So it starts with, what's the culture at home? When you're taking your sons out to watch rugby, do you tag along your girl?
Amais is like boys' day out.
Exactly.
I used to work in a school as well as a PE and swimming teacher. And I remembered that the girls and the boys were split. So during a football term or season, the boys were playing football. Let's say rugby, for example. The boys were playing rugby and the girls were playing netball. And I have the girls coming up to me and being like, I want to play rugby as well. And it's like, I would love for you to, but I'm not allowed. Your mom would come or the school is against it, So it starts from there, You've already taught a small girl that
there's conditioning,
conditioned from the very beginning that rugby is a boys' sport.
In terms of even boardrooms outside of sports, some people argue that women aren't as aggressive enough when it comes to their contracts and demanding certain things or demanding the pay that should be rightfully theirs. they feel a bit intimidated. Do you kind of see that from a legal standpoint? Like, do you see that happening? Do women end up getting shortchanged in contracts?
First of all, let me say I've dealt more with men's contracts than women's. The women's contracts that I have dealt with are individual sports, athletics.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well. They're almost at par with the men.
Okay.
But I will have to say the only one point where I have dealt with discrimination is where the woman looks like a man. So they have her tested for hyperandrogenism. So that's something else altogether.
Yeah.
But contractually, they seem to be doing okay, at least athletics.
Yeah.
All the other sports, I've never seen a single women's contract for football, even basketball, nothing. I haven't seen not a single one.
We just see that because you've got two guys who can run and win a marathon, then we call ourselves a sporting nation. But sport is not one.
Yeah.
There are so many, and that is why in another forum was asking, do we have a national development strategy for our sports? Because we're calling these sports as the next frontier. We're driving sports tourism.
But what does that really mean?
Sports tourism is not a bunch of golfers or a bunch of
athletes
just coming to run our country. No, sports tourism is a whole well thought out strategy.
And something else, and I've seen you, Sarah, talk about this before, is sexual abuse in the sports industry. And it's something that I champion. And I'm almost ashamed that I haven't really thought about it from like the sports side of like, okay, what's really happening there? And so I don't know if that's something that you can shed some light on.
Sadly, sexual abuse cuts across every single sport. And usually these are the girls who have no alternative career choice. Their talent is sport. But in order to get from level 1 to level 2, they have to do a favor or they have to put up with a coach or a trainer or someone in management and just give him what he wants so that I can be picked for the team, I'll get exposure, I'll get money, I'll uplift my family. So sexual abuse is like a small price to pay to get
move
to the next level.
I mean, sexual abuse in sports is prevalent. However, it's a very sensitive topic that people would rather not talk about. So even when there are allegations and kids are trying to come and talk about it, it's not a safe and secure environment to embrace them and try to do something about it. You know, everybody's waiting for someone else to do something about it while we should all just join hands and help this kid.
Do you think then we need to, so this is what I'm coming up with, like, while listening to you guys talk. One, there needs to be like a safe space.
Exactly.
And I don't know whether it's, you know, women in sports who have to come together and say, this is the safe space that we're going to create. The other second thing that worries me is that when the stories are found out, the person who is banned for 3 years, there has to be some lobbying that is done so that harsher measures are put in place if it's not something where somebody's going to jail for. Because when you layer this, is it in jungle you say like the dog that you lay is one that bites you. So like if you just let people get away with this thing, then it becomes a big thing. You're like, oh my God, we didn't know this is happening in sports in Kenya. Oh, but you did. You banned someone for 3 years. And then now they're back. What did you expect them to do?
If the justice system is actually strengthened, then it gives a safe space for everybody.
You
know, the parent, once your child tells you this is what's happening to me, then the parent can be confident enough to go to the police, and if the police doesn't do anything about it, then the female lawyers that are willing to do pro bono work and take it forward. As long as there's structures that are in place, then you know for sure this guy will go behind behind the cell for a long time.
So if you could speak to that girl who's thinking about it and is just thinking, well, I don't play rugby, I don't swim, is there space for me? And even if I want to go into basketball, there's so many dudes, like it feels like there's a lot of pressure. Like what would you tell that girl who's not even thought about the marketing option, the legal option, psychology, who knew, you know?
Just be, like, own yourself, you know? Like, own what it is that you want to do and don't be scared to do it, you know? Also, another thing is that there's so many other sports out there. You know, some people don't like contact sport, and that's okay. I'm not one of them. I'm also one of them. And finally, sport is so broad. You don't just have to be a player or an athlete, you know. Like even just sitting here, you know, I've discovered so many other things in the industry that you know, as the girl can pursue.
So there's a girl out there who would want to venture into the business of sports. The opportunities are massive. You can go into event logistics. You can go into brand endorsement. You can go into branding. You can go into commentary on radio, sports analysts. They're there. You can go into photo journalists, sports journalists. Basically, the career span is lawyers. I mean, it's massive. But you just have to approach it with a business lens. If you are wearing my hat, because I am an entrepreneur. So I look at business, I look at sport. Let these people play. Let them do their thing. Somebody has to do their branding on their shirt. Somebody's got a sponsor. Who is that person who is going to be the go-between the sponsors and the sport? And that's the niche that exists right there.
So thank you guys. Like each one of you being here is just so amazing. And we're definitely going to put up their different handles so that you can engage with them if you have more questions. If you have questions that I didn't ask and you want to have like a one-on-one, definitely put up your handle so that somebody can reach you guys just for a bit more guidance. But yeah, so that's been Brunch with Adele, and you can check out what's going to be coming out next on Adele TV. You can subscribe on adelonyango.com or on Facebook, Adele Onyango. Peace. Is this shady? It is very shady.
No, it was the African dab. No, the African dab.
Please cut that out.
Oh my God.